You pushed him? In the elevator?
Ami gave you a look of disbelief and disappointment as you did your leg presses. Before the start of your shifts, some of you work out in the small gym across the street from the firehouse. Ami is usually your spotter since you both have similar physiques. Some of the guys chuckled at you as they did their sets beside you. You glared at both them and Ami.
I panicked, okay? I didn't want him to know how much of a geek I am.
You finished your set and picked up your water bottle while Ami took your spot. Ami grunted as she began her sets.
Yeah, since your collection is borderline stalkerish and creepy.
You heard some of the guys shout their arguments.
Shouldn't you guys be focusing on your workout, not our conversation?
You whipped around and yelled at them. They all turned their heads from you, smirking. You still loved the guys. They were like brothers to you. The problem was that they acted like brothers too.
Just tell him you wanna bang!
One of the guys yelled while your back was turned. You ground your teeth, trying not to respond back.
Maybe not at your house, though. He probably won't even be able to get it up when he sees the shrine you have. Shut up! I do not have a shrine!
You snapped, which only caused more laughter to erupt around the room. Ami paused between her sets.
Alright, boys. Enough teasing for today.
They always listened to her. It wasn't fair. You took a long sip from your water bottle before pulling out your lips in a pout.
So has he contacted you since?
You shook your head as you handed her a towel to wipe the sweat from her forehead and neck.
Not really. He told me that he'd pitched the idea of me joining his interview with his agent and publicist, who's going to talk with the company. But other than that, not much. I told him I would think it over. But I'm really not sure. The idea of being recognized or maybe even followed by strangers with a camera is just odd. I don't like it. He did say he would keep your identity a secret though, so you won't have to worry. He doesn't seem like he would lie to you about it.
Ami stood up and waved to the guys as you headed back to the station. Once outside, Ami poured some water on her head, making her fluffy pixie cut stick around her.
Ah, that feels nice. Can't do this with long hair. I'm thinking of growing my hair out again.
You laughed. She said this every week, and then by the time the following week comes, she's already back to her short pixie cut again.
You're way too fickle when it comes to your hair.
Ami bumped you with her hip.
Well, at least I'm not obsessed with a certain beefy hero.
You stuck your tongue out at her before taking another sip from your water bottle.
Oh, speak of the devil, there he is.
You did a spit take when you saw Kirishima talking to the chief and one of the firefighter paramedics. He was dressed in gym shorts and a muscle t-shirt with the sides cut out, teasing you with small glimpses of his sculpted abs and pecs. You looked down at yourself in only your spandex shorts and your workout gear.
Ami, give me your shirt. What? No, ew, that's gross. It's drenched in my sweat, you know.
She pulled away from you as you reached out to her.
No, he can't see me all exposed like this.
You jumped on her back as you tried to worm your hands into the hem of her shirt. Ami pushed you, trying to get you to stop clinging to her.
No, it's your own damn fault. This is what you get for never wearing a shirt at work.
The two of you were still struggling with each other when someone called out.
Hey, guess who came?
The both of you froze. Chief paused when he spotted you and Ami, your hands half pulling up her shirt and exposing her stomach, while Ami had a hand on your face, obviously trying to push you off.
Why? Just why? It's always you two that are doing the weird shit.
Both you and Ami looked down in shame after the chief smacked the both of you in the head. You looked up to meet Kirishima's eyes. He gave you a smile, but then he had to turn away. His shoulders were shaking from what you assumed was him laughing at you. Again. Why can't you act normal in front of him? Ami elbowed you in the ribs.
Not my fault this time. It was Traveler.
Yeah, last time you were hanging upside down from the ceiling.
Your chief flicked her in the head.
Ow!
Kirishima turned back, shoulders still shaking.
Oh, yeah, that was you. Wasn't your hair longer before?
Ami smirked. You rolled your eyes, knowing what was going to come next.
Oh, you mean...
She whipped her head around, her hair instantly growing until it was below her shoulders, sweeping her hair back, giving him a wink.
like this?
Whoa, that's cool. Can you control your hair? Do you use your quirk for helping people, like Traveler?
Your heart leapt at the sound of him saying your name. He took some quick steps up to you and Ami, while your body kind of gravitated behind her, embarrassed to be so exposed in front of him. Ami gave you a side glance and sighed as she looked back to Kirishima.
No, literally that's all I can do. Just make it grow. Really, it's only useful for if my hair is accidentally set on fire, or I don't like how a stylist cuts my hair. Traveler and Chief are the ones that primarily use their quirks for the job. I just wanted to be a firefighter.
Chief held up his hand and twirled a finger.
To answer your next question, I can manipulate a water's current. I use it to help aim the hoses to put out the fires faster.
Kirishima's eyes were sparkling.
I can't wait to see you guys in action. So manly.
In action?
You and Ami both said in unison. See who in action? The chief put his arms around Kirishima's shoulders, which looked a bit awkward considering Kirishima was taller than him.
Yep. Welcome our junior firefighter for the day. He was just cleared. Ain't that right?
Chief looked back at the paramedic, who was packing away his medkit. He held up the OK sign.
See? So you guys are going to be training Mr. Hero here how to be a firefighter today.
What?
Again, the both of you spoke in unison. This time, Ami was excited, while yours was in horror.
How do you put these on?
Kirishima was struggling to put on the suspenders. The straps kept getting caught around the grooves of his muscular shoulder blades. You couldn't help but giggle at him as you took a step towards him, your pants already strapped around your body. You took the strap from his hand. First, you should loosen it so it can wrap around all of you, big guy. Pulling on the buckle, you loosened up the strap before moving on to the other one. Now try. Kirishima got the straps on more easily, and he gave you an awkward smile, a bit of pink dusting his cheeks.
I guess I'm a bit overly excited.
He stated sheepishly as he tightened the straps and grabbed a firefighter coat.
How do I look?
Kirishima held out his arms as he did a spin and then posed as he faced you again. You snorted at him when he started doing the model pout.
Wait, you're incomplete. Here,
Ami stood up from her seat and ran out of the room to quickly come back, with a standard issue helmet, protective cover and all. She stepped on her chair to put the helmet on his head when she froze.
You might want to get rid of the spikes. It'll probably feel really uncomfortable. Plus, the helmet would just mess them up.
Kirishima grabbed one of his spiked strands and hummed.
Yeah, I'll dunk my head in the sink to get some of it out. Don't do anything cool while I'm gone.
He winked before heading to the bathroom. You sighed as you tightened your belt around your waist, making sure your pants would stay in place. You turned around to see Ami snickering at you.
You two are so cute together. It must be love. Ami, I'm going to murder you.
You deadpanned as you pulled your jacket on.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like something a heroic firefighter would say. Don't let the big teddy bear hear you. Might taint that holy image he has of you.
You raised an eyebrow at her.
Oh, come on. This guy is here because of you and how awesome he thinks you are. He's saying how manly your heart is and how what you did was just so manly. He does realize that's not much of a compliment, right?
You gave her a shrug.
Calling things manly is a compliment to him, I guess. But besides...
You were cut off by an alarm blaring loudly and lights flashing yellow, meaning it was a quirk-caused fire.
Oh, great. I'll go check to see what it is while you wait for Big Red.
Ami nodded as she hoisted her own gear on. Chief filled you in on what was going on, and you hopped into the fire engine with the rest of the team, as Ami and Kirishima came running out.
So what's happening?
Kirishima asked excitedly as he sat with you in the front seat.
Leo. Again.
You responded with a frown. Ami groaned from behind you. She slammed her head into her hands.
Oh, not this damn kid. He's such a pain.
Kirishima looked back and forth between the both of you while you complained.
It's this kid. He's 6 years old and has a quirk that lets him breathe out this gas that happens to be extremely flammable. He clicks his teeth to set off a spark and starts spewing fire everywhere. He does this at least once a month when he throws a big tantrum about not getting what he wants. His parents don't have a quirk that can contain him and make him stop, so they call us. I'm usually the one who handles him. You explained to him as the fire engine came to life and sped down the street. A tight turn had you pressing your body against Kirishima. Thank God you had your helmet on, or else he would see the flustered look on your face. How can someone still feel so muscular despite all those layers?
So you guys typically deal with this kind of stuff?
He asked.
Yeah, we handle more than regular house fires and saving cats from trees. We had to evolve when quirks started appearing. Someone has to try and help contain the little tykes that can't control themselves yet.
Ami was tucking her long hair tightly into her helmet.
I suggest you tuck your hair in if you want to keep it. This kid has burnt my hair off twice already, and let me tell you, as enjoyable as Traveler makes it look, being on fire is not fun.
You laughed as Kirishima quickly started pushing his red locks into his helmet too. The engine came to a stop, and everyone started to get out.
At least it isn't a huge... fire.
You trailed off as you took in the sight before you. The entire front yard was engulfed in flames.
Oh, this fucking kid!
Ami mumbled as she helped pull out the hose. A frantic mother came running out of her house as you all were putting out the fires, the chief splitting the streams to put out multiple fires at once. Kirishima watched in amazement as he helped hold the fire hose.
Oh, thank the Lord you guys are here. He's in the back in his treehouse. He keeps blowing fire at me every time I try to get close to him.
You could see some scorch marks on her clothes and bare arms. You reached into a compartment on the side of the fire engine, pulling out the items you needed.
All right, show me where he is, ma'am.
Kirishima let go of the hose, handing it off to one of the other guys before tagging along with you.
So, what are those? What are you going to do?
Kirishima asked excitedly. He reminded you of a little kid on Christmas. Or a puppy. You held up a metallic collar and a blue fire extinguisher. This is a quirk nullifier, and then this is a fire extinguisher that is safe to ingest and won't cut off someone's oxygen supply. We had to come up with new ways to put people out when it was their own fire. Hiding the items behind your back and latching them to your belt, the two of you followed the worried mother to the backyard, where there were more flames.
Chief, come back here when you're done with the front.
You spoke into the receiver in your helmet.
Roger that.
Looking up at the treehouse, you saw a little boy stick his head out of the small window, glaring at you.
Go away! I hate you!
A puff of flames came out of his mouth when you came closer. You didn't even flinch as the flames hit you in the face. Kirishima, on the other hand, took a giant leap back.
Oh, now I know that isn't true, Leo. I thought we were friends by now. I come and visit you all the time.
You spoke up to the boy in a cheery voice. The boy frowned at you, tears rolling down his cheeks.
No! I do hate you, and I hate Daddy too! I don't want to see him ever again! Go away!
His father was supposed to take him to an amusement park to see a show about his favorite cartoon today, but he got called into work. Some emergency happened and he had to go.
Daddy is a liar! I hate him!
More flames were thrown at your face. All right, that's it. Without saying a word, you began to climb up the tree.
No! Go away!
He tried blowing more flames down at you from above the ladder. He could blow flames at you all day. It wasn't going to make a difference. You reached the top and climbed inside. Leo stood in the corner, gripping his shirt as he tried to stand his ground.
Go away!
He inhaled deeply, and before the flames could even reach you, you let him have it. Pink foam came out of your fire extinguisher and covered his face. He spat out the foam in disgust before trying again. More foam came at his face as you came closer to him, standing on your knees. He wiped the foam away again, but before he could even let out his gaseous breath, you sprayed him once more. He sputtered as you got close enough to put the collar on his neck.
There. Now you can't spit fire at us anymore.
Leo grumbled as he tried to yank off the collar.
Why did it have to be bubble gum? Blech.
He motioned to the pink foam. Leo hated the bubblegum flavor and you knew it.
Huh. Why did you have to set your yard on fire again?
You crossed your arms at him. He kicked his feet as he held onto his shirt, trying not to cry.
'Cause Daddy lied. He always lies. He says he's going to take me to the park or see a movie, and he never does. It's not fair.
I'm sure your dad feels the same way. He wants to spend time with you too, but he has a job. That job helps give you toys and food. Dad just wants to make sure he can give you everything you need.
You patted him on the head.
He'll come for you. He misses you just as much as you miss him.
The tears overflowed and he began to wail as he clung on to you.
I don't hate you. I'm sorry. I don't hate Daddy too. I want my daddy.
You held the small body to you as you hummed. Poor thing still didn't know how to express his emotions yet. You were about to step down the ladder when you noticed a head sticking through the hole.
That was so cool.
Kirishima's eyes were practically sparkling as he stood on the ladder. Had he been watching the whole time?
Ah, pff, you're such a weirdo. Now move so I can get down.
You shook your head at him as he quickly climbed down the ladder. Leo went straight into his mother's arms, apologizing. The fires in the backyard were all extinguished, and the others were packing everything back onto the engine.
Seems like we've got a code red, folks. Let's hurry up and get out of here.
Chief's voice came over the line.
What's code red?
Kirishima asked as you stepped into the fire engine. You turned back to him with a smile.
Regular fire with unknown cause, meaning not a villain attack. This is where the fun begins.
You guys are so manly!
Kirishima held a fist up as he smiled, his hair bouncing in his ponytail. He sat with you and a group of firefighters now dressed down in their blue firehouse uniforms at a large table. You and everyone just laughed at him as you passed around bowls of chili. After the day shift people finished, the people coming onto the night shift always made dinner for their fellow firefighters. The day shift also made breakfast for the night shift in the morning, which usually became more like a lunch, since they were all passed out for most of the morning.
Seriously, I never thought you guys did so much. I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I never really put too much thought into what civil servants really did.
You glanced at everyone as people quietened down.
This isn't what most of us wanted. We wanted to be heroes too, but our quirks weren't strong enough or not even capable of being used as such.
One of the guys spoke up.
None of us dreamt of being where we are now.
The atmosphere had gone from light to heavy in an instant. It was true. Most people who became police officers or firefighters were people who wanted to become heroes but couldn't.
Nah, I just joined so I could be surrounded by you beautiful hunks of men.
Ami spoke up matter-of-factly as she shoveled chili into her mouth.
Ugh, all day I get to be with these big, muscular guys and meet dreamy heroes. I'm aiming to seduce one of you, or a promising hero, and live my life blissfully in the haven that is the meaty male form.
Your jaw dropped as your face instantly heated up from hearing all of those bold words come out of Ami's mouth. Everyone else was just as shocked as you were.
Only Ami would say something like that. You're just saying that 'cause you're single.
Your chief seemed to be the only one unfazed. His face expressed exactly how he felt. Completely and utterly done.
Don't worry, I've got my sights on a few guys. I'm just waiting till I snap the trap on their asses and make them mine.
Ami sneered at the guys, her eyes narrowing at them.
No thanks!
All of the guys yelled, scrambling to get as far away from Ami as they could, without getting up or leaving their food behind. Ami puffed out her cheeks, faking a pout.
How rude! I'm one hell of a woman, you know.
I agree. Any guy who has the misfortune of having your eyes set on them would feel like they were in hell.
The chief drank his water as everyone else laughed. Ami glared at him, but you could see a smirk forming. Chief and Ami may act like that, but you knew they were just pretending to help the mood. You smiled to yourself while you continued to eat.
So what about you, traveler?
You started to cough, surprised to hear a voice so close to your ear. Kirishima looked down beside you with a worried expression.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just wondering why you became a firefighter.
He patted your back as you tried to breathe again.
They're the child of 2 firefighters.
Chief spoke up for you, sliding some water towards you. You took it graciously.
Oh, really? So you wanted to follow in your parents' footsteps?
Kirishima looked at you with curiosity.
Do they have quirks like yours?
My mom is able to withstand heat, and my dad...
Your voice grew smaller as your eyes shifted to the chief, unsure of what to say.
Can manipulate water currents.
Chief smirked into his drink proudly. Oh, you know that look in his eye. You groaned, covering your face.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. My cute little kid coming up to me saying that they wanted to be just like their daddy, saving people from getting hurt, and that I was their #1 hero. They were so cute. They would wear my uniform around the house.
Okay, Dad! Enough!
You could feel your face burning. An arm wrapped around your shoulders and pulled you close.
That's our traveler! Becoming a firefighter with pure intentions. They never wavered from that dream, even when they were offered job positions as a sidekick.
Yeah, I would have taken those offers in a heartbeat.
Same.
Your eyebrows furrowed.
Well, I'm not interested in all the things that come with being a hero. Sure, the money and admiration of the people is tempting, but there are so many more dangers and other things that are required of heroes that I don't think I could take. I wanted to help people. Seeing my dad work showed me that there are more ways than just being a pro hero to do that.
The table became silent again. You could see that they still couldn't seem to understand what you were getting at.
They're right, you know.
Your head lurched up to see Kirishima with a serious look on his face.
Things can get intense real fast. People in my field die all the time. Friends, mentors, all of them risk their life every day, and you never know who's going to come back. Then, if you don't get enough attention, or not many people like you, your pay gets cut since they aren't making money off of you. Being a hero isn't just about being flashy and having cool catchphrases. It's a scary and deadly path to take that comes with more negative outcomes than positive ones.
Kirishima looked like he was struggling with a thought. His eyes looked distant.
Nothing is scarier than losing someone who was in your reach. But the amount of relief and joy you get when you grab their hand and pull them to safety makes risking your life all that more worth it.
Kirishima.
You whispered his name as you gently placed a hand on his shoulder. He turned his head towards you, giving you a small smile, but his eyes were still sad.
Don't get me wrong, I love my job. I just wish people understood it better. Just like how I feel about you guys. I wish people realize how much effort you guys put into keeping people's daily lives safe and making sure things stay in order.
Kirishima turned to everyone to find their eyes were downcast, not sure how to act after hearing what he had to say.
If you do that interview, maybe people wouldn't look at the job of a civil servant as a place for hero rejects, but as something positive. Plus, it'll show off how cool you guys are. Especially you, Traveler.
Me?
You blinked at him as he gave you a blinding smile, no hint of sadness in his eyes.
You're so cool and manly. I was in complete awe of you all day.
Your face was on fire, and you quickly averted your eyes to your food. You silently started eating again, and everyone else started to talk, making jokes and smiling, the heavy mood from a few minutes ago already forgotten. You mumbled quietly into your bowl so only Kirishima could hear you.
Thank you.
You could feel him smiling beside you as he bumped his elbow into your side, acknowledging that he had, indeed, heard you.
Kirishima, honestly, you don't have to do this again.
Kirishima watched you mumble beside him. He'd offered to walk you home again, and he hadn't waited for you to say no before he started walking with you. You were still trying to convince him to go home, despite the fact that you were already walking up the steps to your apartment building. He chuckled to himself, placing his hands behind his head.
I know, but I want to. Are you going to let me walk you to your door, or are you going to push me into the elevator again?
He had fun teasing you. Your eyes would go wide and your mouth would open and shut as you tried to form words. Your head lowered in shame.
I'm sorry about that.
Kirishima couldn't help but smile at you. You were one strange person. You were completely different on the job. Strong, confident, level-headed. No situation seemed to scare you away, and you always jumped right into action. But then, once the firefighter uniform came off, you were a walking bundle of nerves that jumped at every word or move he made with a bright red face. It was quite an interesting contrast. Once the both of you made it to the elevator, he made sure you went in first, and then him, so he could stand in front of the elevator door.
I'd like to see you get past me now.
He raised an eyebrow at you while you giggled. The sound of it made his playful smile grow. You took a step closer to him and pointed up at him.
You know, you look really different with your hair down.
That took him by surprise.
People say that a lot when they see me without any spikes.
He looked at one of his strands that had fallen in front of his face. After washing it in the sink and then being soaked in sweat all day from the hot helmet, his hair had returned to its naturally flat state. He almost jumped when your hand reached up and started petting his hair.
I kind of like it like this. It's really soft.
You spoke in almost a whisper as you continued to pet him. It felt really nice. It was odd that you were touching him without freaking out, but he really wasn't complaining about the gentle contact. He began to close his eyes, enjoying his hair being played with, when there was a ding that woke him up from his trance. You quickly ran past him and stuck your tongue out.
Hey, you did that on purpose!
No, I didn't.
You laughed as you walked down the hall, with him following closely behind you. From the tone in your voice, you most definitely did. He quickly caught up with you and you walked together in comfortable silence. He would bump your hip with his and you would do it back. He could feel the both of you forming a bond and becoming fast friends. You stopped in front of a door and held up your keys.
Here I am.
He smiled down at you, liking this playful and relaxed version of yourself.
Here you are.
You bit your lower lip, dragging your teeth slowly against its flesh.
Thanks for walking me home again.
No prob. Thanks for showing what it's like to be a cool firefighter for the day.
He watched as you tucked your hair behind your ear, a gentle smile on your lips. Kirishima could feel his heart speeding up.
Have a good night.
He quickly waved before turning around to escape.
Wait!
Kirishima felt himself being tugged back. He turned around to see you clutching onto his sweater, your face bright red and eyes unable to meet his.
wanted to tell you that I...
He held his breath as he waited for you to continue speaking.
I'll do it. As long as there are no pictures of me and they don't use my name. I'll do the interview.
His eyes widened. Every time he met with you, you always seemed to find a way to surprise him.